In this video, I'm gonna tell you about the best back exercise that you can do at home with zero equipment. All you need is the floor and that's it. It's not the towel pull-up, it's the dragon press. The reason you should do the dragon press if you do calisthenics is because the dragon press has a special emphasis on the rear delt, which is an often neglected muscle in calisthenics. Plus, there aren't that many good bodyweight rear delt exercises, at least not without equipment. The dragon press mainly activates your rear delts, your triceps, your upper back muscles, and also your side delts a little bit as well as assistance. Your lats are also active in the movement, but not that much, so I wouldn't consider this as a substitution for a vertical pulling movement like the pull-up, for example. Now, I won't lie, the dragon press is a pretty difficult movement, so you will need a decent base of strength before you start training it. It's actually even a good bit harder than a regular full front lever. You don't absolutely need to be able to do a front lever to achieve this skill, but even having a 3 to 5 second clean front lever can go a long way. Also, being able to do 15 clean pull-ups in a row, 15 dips, and even a couple of diamond push-ups in a row will not hurt because there is a tricep element to this as well. But if you don't want to learn the full version and simply just want to do this for general strength and development of your rear delt, then even being able to do about 6 to 8 clean pull-ups in a row should be enough, and having overall basing bodyweight strength. The way to do the dragon press is to first lay on the ground on your back and then straighten your arms out in front of you, place your fingers on the ground, and then rock your hips up and then push through your fingers. The whole point of a dragon press is to keep your hips and most of your lower back off the ground while pushing through your fingers. You'll get the technique pretty quickly once you start doing it yourself. Also, when you're rocking your hips up to get into the movement, please use as little momentum as possible, because if you use too much momentum or if you kick up to get your hips in the right position, you might end up overshooting and end up falling backwards on your neck, and we do not want that. So please use as little momentum as possible. If you have enough strength, you can just press up into the movement without any momentum, which is ideal. This movement might also seem like it requires a lot of finger strength to do, but that is definitely not the case. It just seems that way. If you have a decent base of calisthenic strength, then finger strength should not be a problem at all. With that being said though, you could do this with flat palms on the ground instead of using your fingers, but that does make it harder, so you could use that as a method of progression. When you do this movement for the first time, you might find that your muscles that are being used are being contracted really hard, which is pretty normal when you're doing a static element for the first time, but you'll get used to it eventually. The first progression is the tucked dragon press. Since you're doing this movement for the first time, practice the tuck variation quite a lot, and once you're able to hold it for about 12 to 15 seconds comfortably, you can move on to the next progression, advanced tuck. Now this is where things start getting difficult. You can start opening your legs up gradually as you get more and more into the advanced tuck, and or you can also do one leg advanced tuck. So once you're able to do this movement for about 8 to 10 seconds, you can move on to the next progression, which is the one leg dragon press. After that, once you're able to hold that comfortably for about 5 seconds, we can move on to the advanced one leg dragon press. The progression after that is the straddle, but I wouldn't really recommend doing that because it's just unnecessary. I would recommend directly moving on to the full version once you get pretty comfortable with the advanced one leg variation. Of course, doing only static holds won't help out that much, so you also need dynamics, and we have two options here. Number one is raises and number two is negatives. So if you can't do a progression already, just do its negative version. So for example, if you want to go from advanced one leg to full, then just do full negatives. And once you're able to control the negative on the way down pretty well, you'll be able to hold the full version for about a second or two. Initially, do negatives for about 1 to 2 reps, and then once you get better at it, you can do up to 3 to 4 reps. But I wouldn't recommend going beyond 4 reps, because at that point you're just accumulating too much fatigue, because negatives are pretty fatiguing on the body, especially if you're able to control them really well. If you're serious about learning the full dragon press, then doing weighted negatives with ankle weights is also a great option. As for the raises, if a progression is too easy for you, meaning you can hold it for 5 seconds or more, you can start doing the raises of that variation. So for example, if the advanced tuck is too easy for you, you can make it harder by doing advanced tuck raising. If you want to do the dragon press for general rear delt development, then I would recommend incorporating at least one of the 3 variations that I mentioned: static, raises, or negatives. You can even use them interchangeably as you progressively get stronger, because progressive overload is important for strength and hypertrophy. Do at least 3 sets of one of these methods if that is your goal, and I would also recommend doing this at the start of your session, because the dragon press is quite a difficult movement. But if your goal is to achieve the full dragon press, I'd recommend using all 3 methods that I just mentioned. Now there are actually even more dragon press variations. Number 1, the wide dragon press, which is a variation that emphasizes your rear delts a lot more. And number 2, the one-arm dragon press, which just makes the regular dragon press a lot harder. And if regular dragon press exercises are too hard for you, you can just do rear delt presses on the floor with feet assistance. So that's pretty much it for this video. Subscribe if you found value. Yeah, see ya.